We're just an added bonus in here. Wave, guys, you're on camera.
Okay.
Can we wave?
Are we?
Hi, Mom!
Are we the background?
We're the background.
Yeah, we're the background.
We're the background. Technically, we're the foreground,
That's why
actually.
they call it an overlay.
We are over.
Yeah.
Technically,
We're not the overlay. There's an overlay on top of us.
They are top.
Yeah, I'm just...
It also
figuring it
means that
out.
we're under gaming, so if I'm like
Never thought of these things.
pushing gaming gear up.
Until now.
There you go. See, it's amazing. All sorts of fun and games you can get up with cameras. Nevertheless, let's go to the bans. Let's talk about these picks and bans because these are important.
Yeah.
Orianna and Jarvan have been banned out as well. Twisted Fate and Elise, which does mean that Immunity could pick a hell of a lot of different champions.
Yeah.
Thresh being one of the main ones I'm seeing.
I'm going to be honest with you, though. Those are very generic bans by GamingGear, and they do not target Immunity. The interview that Shox had with GamingGear, I think it was with Mazarin. No, it was with Deadly Brother.
You got your crystal ball down
She
here.
also
Don't
had
worry,
one with
I'm
Mazarin.
just going to pop the crystal ball out.
What she found is that GamingGear didn't have the ability to prep for people. They didn't think they could have the research, whereas Immunity had a very good eye on what everyone is playing. That's why they're the ones who banned Orianna. That's one of Mazarin's best champions. It's also why they banned Eve as well, because Alanir plays a great Eve, and he already has in this tournament. I feel like Immunity is definitely the ones that had the intelligent bans, whereas GamingGear just did the generic bans.
Well, I would love to see Jungle Poppy right now. You're just going to sit and start juggling that. No, you're going to blow us all up, man. Be careful what you do there. 20 seconds for the choice to come in, and it is going to be Lee Sin getting locked in. So it does seem that actually GamingGear are going to go for those legit picks. Come on, Immunity. We don't know Brazilians in here anymore.
We should lock it in.
Yeah. You think? That would be pretty cool.
Should. I mean, they've been teasing it all day.
Yeah.
And he is the player who plays the most different champions. He's already played Swain. He's already played Syndra. Why not Mordekaiser?
Well, why not?
Why not?
Why not? Show the world your Mord. See what he does. We'll see what he goes with. Of course, Immunity, Alicia, we did see him actually playing Elise earlier, and that's been banned out. And Zach has been heavily banned out this tournament and would be not surprising if he got locked in here on that top lane.
Yeah, it is definitely game time for these guys right now. Obviously, these are the serious picks as far as we can tell. Even the Lissandra was a top lane pick for them earlier for Swiper, who had a very successful game. That was when they actually did Lissandra Syndra, and we don't know if they're going... Ooh. I'm just going to stop that point right there and talk about and look at Quinn.
Well, go for it.
All right. That's probably an AD carry Quinn for Deadly Brother. Picked in pretty much blind for what Immunity likes to do. This generally means they want a very aggressive lane. People underestimate the power of Quinn's laning phase right now. It is actually excessively strong, and if you get a couple kills, due to her ultimate and mobility, she can take that advantage to multiple lanes, which is unlike what a lot of AD carries can do.
Glad you said Quinn, because I was thinking, sure that's Szechuani's new art, but definitely is Quinn.
It is definitely Quinn.
Definitely is Quinn, yeah.
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 I should have let you take that one. It's like
no. When they change the art on me, you know, during the patches, and sometimes I'm sticking behind because I stick to the tournament patches. Like, wait a minute, where's my mouse? I never have a computer, so I unlike some of these analysis guys, can't mouse over stuff and check it. I simply have to pull the vision out. But the analysis guys are like, and then they just pull a spell name out. And it's like, really, you knew that? You knew that? We haven't seen that champion in around about 2 years.
I knew that.
You knew that spell name. Well, of course you knew it. You designed it.
What is...
well, you didn't design it, but you helped balance it.
What is Poppy's... I'm going to screw myself here. Diplomatic Immunity.
Diplomatic Immunity, yeah.
Oh, you knew, okay.
Yeah, knew that one. Ooh.
So
actually,
playing Lissandra.
This is Jungle
Zach. Absolutely. I'm getting tired of this Mordekaiser thing these guys are doing as well. I don't need to see it
It's like
anymore.
funny the first time, but, you know, when you're not against pain, then it's not so funny.
Yeah. All right,
it's like Teemo. Teemo's like 2, 3 years old now. Come on, guys. You can do better than that. Any support would be nice, but we've already got Sona locked in, so we know that's not going to happen.
Ezreal AD, very strong, generally, for Immunity. I'm just going to ignore what they're doing right there. I feel like if Immunity doesn't pull ahead early on here, they're going to have a really big struggle. They need to win this game fairly quickly because Zach jungle, specifically when he's the only tank on the team, doesn't necessarily work for initiating unless you're snowballing ahead.
Well, Tryndamere was locked in, so...
Wow. That's actually something that he's made. Tryndamere is one of his main champions when he made that transition to top lane. He was wasn't MBS the one who was? Yeah, he was. He was a mid laner until he joined. No, not him.
You thinking of Swiper?
I'm thinking of this guy.
You're thinking of Swiper that used to be the top laner as a sub?
I don't think it's Swiper.
And then, because Immunity's top laner actually wasn't old enough to come here, so Swiper ended up joining for this tournament, I believe. I may be wrong with that one. I'm sure people in the Twitter world, Twitter universe will correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's...
I was thinking of Swiper.
That's what I'm right.
I should not have confused those two.
It's okay. We'll get Papa Smithy on the line. He can confirm the information. See what is going on. But let's look at let's talk about the actual picks and bans, because there is a Gragas in that mid lane. We have seen Maluna, not Maluna. He's not stepping in. Mazarin playing it.
It's another Gragas for him.
And not to be confused with Mazzarini, the Call of Duty 4 ex-pro.
No one was going to confuse him with that.
Well, me and Joe do.
Okay.
And he is probably the most popular. He has like God knows how many million hits on his frag video. He's a pretty popular guy.
Okay.
Has a little. Nevertheless, I'm not going to get into that. I don't want to go into his following that he hasn't checked. But it's Mazarin, who actually people do know because of the also another YouTube video of where he wasn't quite sure when to go after the interview with Shox.
Yes, I would suggest everyone goes and checks that out when you have a chance.
It's funny.
You're a League of Legends fan.
I did kind of grill him on it yesterday as well.
Yes, you did. Yeah, because you're a mean person.
I like to bring these things up. I like to cut the ice, get straight to the point, and rip the players. I'm not too kind to these guys. Nevertheless, we are underway, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be Immunity versus GamingGear, and these teams are taking it relatively seriously. We are seeing Quinn as the AD carry. I feel like they are as well. I feel like these guys have something to prove. And remember, this is the International Wildcard tournament, so they are technically representing their entire region. Right now, it is going to be the Oceanic region and the Commonwealth Independent States being represented by the Australian team and a Lithuanian team. I know, don't bother tweeting me, but it's going to be a face check straight in there. Deadly Brother Flash burn already, and that's the AD carry burning that Flash.
That's not good, specifically because Deadly Brother wants to do extremely well in the laning phase here with Quinn. This just looks like, to get back to the team comps a little bit, full up split push team for GamingGear. Gragas will go in and try to create opportunity, whereas Quinn and Tryndamere are just going to try to dominate their lanes as much as possible.
So, we do see them all stood on top of that ward. Immunity, not quite so sneaky as they like to think they are. Rosie catching the kick of Aluna. While that was all happening, NBS was deep in enemy territory. Trying to bait someone in.
I don't know what he was doing over there.
He didn't have an award either.
He was exploring. Tryndamere, he's practicing for later, because Tryndamere does love to split push those side lanes and then take the enemy jungle, then spin through walls. He hadn't skilled up anything. There were still no gains for going where he did, though.
Well, as it is, we are not going to have an invade. It is a deep ward placed by Immunity on that blue buff. Spyro is actually going to come across. Standard lane setup here, so how the hell is this going to work? It's going to be Tryndamere versus Alessandra in that top lane.
That's actually something I'm incredibly excited to watch right now, specifically because Tryndamere started Cloth 5 against Alessandra. I almost feel like NBS needs to all in that very quickly and just try and get something going with Alessandra. Otherwise, he's going to get poked out for a while. Once Tryndamere gets a few levels, and if he can keep up his farm, I think he's going to completely turn it. But for now, dangerous play.
So that obviously tells us that MBS was expecting a 2v1 lane in the top here.
How so?
Well, he's gone Cloth 5. I'm sure he wasn't expecting to be up against an ability power champion.
I mean, there's also a chance he would have went Cloth 5 just because of the extra health potion access, and because he's going to want maybe the cloth armor later. I've seen a couple people do it. Lysandra also having the ranged advantage, gets a significant amount of auto attacks off as well. It could have been either way, because it's not like they're trying to force any lane swaps, and it's not like it's an uncommon thing to send a Lysandra top.
Well, we are seeing, of course, Deadly Brother going aggressive on towards Ray Deer. Meanwhile, the supports, Rosie lands that death sentence on, so Deadly Brother doesn't have play available, it seems. Quite happy to manage to get onto that one, and so instead catches another shot. Very close between these two, though.
Yeah, that death sentence really equaled the score. Deadly Brother definitely won the first trade, but then giving that one back due to the thresh hook makes that lane even. I feel like the sustain is going to give him a slight edge back, though.
We do see Aluna heading in towards his top lane. He's got the double buffs available, has got the damage to put down on towards Swiper. Swiper, as we mentioned, did come in, but look at that. He's not going for it. He's obviously been given the shout away from MBS, like, I cannot go for this fight right now.
Yeah, there was such a large creep wave that a fight would have just either gotten too much farm lost, or they take so much damage from the creep wave itself that the gank could have been turned around by Swiper. Additionally, Swiper was waiting in the brush as well, and with Lissandra E, the surprise factor and the escapability are just too high.
Well, Luna is going to go in towards there, actually using that ward, gets on towards Elise, does manage to put a lot of damage down, but that's going to be the charm coming straight through. Ignite goes down, and Luna having to flash away from this one, will have safeguard on towards Mazarine, but very, very close. That's going to be an Ignite burn out there. It was the mid lane of Heavens.
An interesting counter jungle attempt there by Alinar, because he wasn't going to be able to convert a kill onto Zac at the very least. He did manage to get the Ignite burn, and wow, that's a big fight there.
That's a big burst of damage. Barry is going to get burned. Is it going to be enough to finish him off? No, he gets away with it. The Deadly Brother can finish it off. Meanwhile, Aluna, his Heavens has gone very deep, actually, in towards the jungle of Mazarine. Mazarine tries to get the belly dash, lands the barrel on towards him, but Heavens, I feel, should be able to get away from this one. But he has got flash available if it's required. There's the Ignite. Mazarine going for this one. It is almost definitely required. Tries to bait him out, tries to draw the damage. That's going to be the charm. Is it going to be enough? No, Inspiro's there. They will finish it off. Oh, he's flashed. Is it going to be crucial enough? No! Power Chord comes out, and now Alicia's in trouble. He's going to have to flash away. So a lot of summoner spells burned, but more importantly, it was first blood, but it was hit for Inspiro.
And that was all because Heavens was greedy and trying to get double buffs from Lee Sin in the jungle. That's why he was looking in, because he was hoping that Alinar was going to do one of those greedy jungle things where he just, one more camp before I go back, and then he was going to try to get the kill after that. Then obviously the chase of Gragas just overforced him, ran a little bit in the wrong direction instead of going through the Dragon Pit so he could get headed off by Inspiro, and ends up giving first blood.
Well, Inspiro is probably going to benefit from that one. He has gone back to buy. It looks like he's going to maybe build up towards a Philo Stone early on. We'll see what he actually does develop him. Whether he's going to, well, he's going for a Side Stone early on, but whether he's going to help him get that Philo Stone quickly built up. Interesting, actually, Philo Stone, talking about that, because it's kind of, it's back as flavor of the month again for the sports. They went through this period where nobody built any GP10 items. They just had to pump all that gold in towards wards, but they're back on the market again, it seems.
I feel like it totally depends on the matchup and what the, I guess the name of the day is, whether it's vision denial or brawling potential. Because right now it's a Dorn Shield versus a Health Crystal. Obviously these guys are not going, they're going for brawling again and just all about the wards. Whereas if one person went for Philo Stone, that team then has to rely more on sitting back and trusting where the wards are, which is just not what these teams want to do, since they don't have any scouting information on each other, don't know where people's jungle paths are, and can't predict them as easily.
Well, look at this. Alicia's ready and waiting to go on MBS, but he has hit level 6. He is going to have that ultimate available. He's going to actually land. No, Spinning Slash just avoids the damage.
He's going to be looking pretty good in this lane. You can see he's already pushing Swiper back pretty significantly. Not even going back to base yet, but that Tryndamere Lissandra lane is incredibly hard to gank for both parties, and they're going to be having some battles later, because I don't see either of those guys building that tank.
No, Luna's, that looked like it was about to land.
I thought it was going to hit.
Yeah, instead he used that elastic slingshot and just backed up from it. So stretched out. Nope, you're not going to land me with that one.
It's like one of those, you're just like stretching as someone throws something at you and it hits the person next to you. I could see that happening at some point.
You see Radier getting caught a little bit. Deadly Brother actually doing a good job in lane over Radier, but you've got to feel, I mean, how's this one going to work? I mean, we know Ezreal's going to get stronger eventually, if he gets the right build going. How's Deadly Brother going to do against him?
If he can fight him in isolated circumstances, he's going to absolutely crush him. Quinn in bird form is almost unduelable by most AD carries, maybe other than Vayne. Specifically, even Ezreal, if he's staying in bird form, he's so fast that even if Radier tries to Arcane Shift away, Quinn's still going to be able to close and then finish him off. I seriously feel like Immunity needs to get the teamfight things, because Ezreal can't split push with Quinn in the game.
Oh, Luna's causing problems on towards that red
nice
buff.
steal.
The smite steal comes in from Luna. Wasn't even used by Alicia, or just actually probably was going to be used, but just mistimed it.
This is actually a pretty dangerous lead here. Not only because of the 1,000 gold, but because of a 2-level edge that Lee Sin now has over Zac. And Immunity knowing that Zac is their only tank, need him to be farmed, but he's getting very heavily shut down by Alanir's Lee Sin here.
As it stands, we are going to have another invade. This could be the blue buff. Mazarine's going to come around, and if they take this away, that's both resources stolen away from immunity. They need to be careful and make sure they secure their own. They are going to leave those little lizards available, and they are just going to back straight off. Aluna's going to head straight for his red buff. Look at this. Heaven's realizing it, trying to pick out, but that's going to hurt them.
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised they left the little lizards up since they're worth so much more experience now. But they're just hoping to keep the blue buff away from Ahri as long as possible when they leave that up. They don't really know when an immunity is going to want to go back and clear it. As you can see, Elysia still hasn't decided to clear the blue buff. They assumed that they would clear it out, and it's going to deny Ahri blue buff for even longer.
Oh, the blue buff will be picked up. Is that going to be given across to Aluna? I'd be surprised if it isn't. But Aluna's actually taking damage. Aluna's tanking it up. Hasn't taken it as well. He's taking it completely. Of course.
I mean, they just given a fresh blue buff to Mazarine, so he might as well take it for the experience because he's pulling very far ahead of Zac, as Lee Sin.
This here surprises me, this top lane. MBS is out-farming Swiper, which I don't get.
So I think what's happening in this lane is the cloth armor from MBS is enough to negate some of the auto attack power from Lissandra, and then Lissandra doesn't have the mana to beat through Tryndamere's healing from Bloodlust. And that's why he's able to push Lissandra back and just kind of win that lane. Tryndamere is an incredibly potent laner. And I mean, of all people, Swiper would know that because he is a big Tryndamere player.
And now he's simply using dirty farming just to negate Swiper off completely and making him tank it up himself. There was actually movement down towards that bottom lane, but it seems that Heaven's decided against that one, and now we're seeing Aluna going in towards Swiper, uses that kick. Swiper's going to use his ultimate. It's Aluna that tanks out the damage. Nicely done here. They're trying to bait it around, but instead it is going to be Aluna that picked up the kill. Not sure if they wanted that. I think MBS wanted that one.
Yeah, they wanted to give it to Tryndamere, but they couldn't necessarily be sure. Swiper still had his flash up. That's one of those situations with Lissandra where you have so many escapes that you don't really... Once he realized he was dead, he's like, well, I need to save something for later.
He is now thinking of potentially going for Elysia, and why not? He's got his ultimate, don't forget. If he goes on towards that turret, he tanks his damage right. They're just going to dive it. It's going to be a second. He has got that passive, remember, but I don't think he's going to be able to save him. Uses the Let's Bounce, tries to lock them up, and actually the kick not landing. Luna may be in trouble there. Hasn't landed the damage because he missed. Meanwhile, down the bottom, Deadly Brother in bird form. Is he going to be able to get away from this one? The Ignite's going to finish. Rosie's going to try and finish it off. He has escaped. True Shot Barrage is not available. There's no mana for Radier either. He's trying to get some basic attacks on towards Inspiro. This is going to land it, but is the tower going to turn it around? No, he gets away with it. Nice Q there from Radier.
So a couple things happen there amidst all the chaos, and it looks like a couple things more are going to happen. This is why he didn't get the clears out. He's going in for a kill here. No Let's Bounce this time.
No Let's Bounce. He's going to have that passive. It's going to...
He didn't go
he didn't realize he'd still got it. In fact, he's going to have to get away with it because Swiper's coming in. He tries to turn it around, uses the ulti kick on Swiper. Didn't really send in the right direction. Tries to safeguard away. Flashes out. And look, just like that, it's another Lee Sin escape.
Sneaky, sneaky Lee Sin. Let's try to take stock, again, of maybe just the overall game then, because I'm not going to go break down the last 3 fights that happened. It's too far past at this point. I feel like the Tryndamere is going to continue to be a very big problem. Even with a Seeker's Arm Guard at this point, seems like MBS has a way of just outpacing Swiper's damage, and he's going to continue to try to go in between that turret. Alinar is way ahead of Zac. He's completely decimating him, and even if both solo laners from Immunity collapse down, he's completely out of there. Essentially, Heavens needs to help bottom lane here. He needs to get Radier going, because the lane that isn't working right now for GamingGear is this Quinn lane, as they ended up losing that trade and actually giving up a kill.
We'll see how that works out. The top lane again, we keep seeing Swiper getting aggressed upon by MBS, and he doesn't seem to be worrying about this one. Of course, he's just getting those crits, getting those health ticking, and just completely negating anything Swiper can do towards him. Every time he goes in on Swiper, he tries to lock him up, which he does there. And again, it's just burning his mana, because Lissandra is a mana-heavy caster. And yeah, simply put, MBS is just out sustaining him.
And the big thing is, Lissandra's ranges are short for a caster, short enough that if Swiper is ever in spell range of MBS, MBS is within spin range of him. And that's why he's closing, getting so much damage, and then healing up, because he doesn't have mana on Trin. versus the mana heavy caster of Lissandra, who's running out constantly.
Puts the ward down deep, continues his dirty farming path. Alicia is going for this red buff, but look at it. Luna sat ready and waiting, has that ward in there, lands it, comes in, steals. Alicia is out of this one, and you can see, oh, actually, tell you a lie, Alicia does have red buff. Maybe he can't get the steal down there. No, Alicia did pick it up, but less power's working. Doesn't have his passive. If he goes down, he will be the death of him. Dark passive picked up, but no, he does get taken down by Luna. And now Deadly Brother comes in. Flay comes out, but it's going to miss out there. Instead, we're going to see the charm landing on Mazarine. Mazarine tries to flash out that Tree Shot Barrage, not going to find his target. Crescendo comes out, catches on towards Raydeer. Raydeer follows through. They get on towards Deadly Brother. Good burst of damage. Raydeer tries to turn that one back around, tries to use his passive, tries to turn it back around. Not going to happen. And Spyro gets caught out as well. He's going to go down. It's a good turnaround from Unity, but MBS picks himself up a kill in the top lane.
And that's funny, because that's exactly what we thought was going to happen next in this lane. NBS was going to continue to be a problem, but then Heavens needs to make some plays bottom lane to get Raydeer going. And that just means this game, despite all the craziness that happened, got closer overall, because Raydeer is going to exert a bit of dominance in that bottom lane now with the 3-0, whereas NBS is going to be out of control.
That could well be the tower going down. I think they've not quite got enough. We do see a Luna coming in. Luna doing a fantastic job at controlling and trying to push at the pace, but as you mentioned, it's all well and good Raydeer getting strong, but if MBS is allowed to just continue his farming, pushing whatever dirty farming he's doing, split pushing, proxy farming, anything you want to call it in that top, line cutting, I believe it is as well. That's kind of more of a Dota term though, so, but yeah. Neither way, he is absolutely dominating this top lane. He's going to become a problem because anyone that's actually played League of Legends realizes if Tryndamere gets fed, it's not fun times.
Of all the things though, I feel like an Iceborne Gauntlet's Ezreal could deal with him pretty damn well. If he's going to be trying to get on late game with that Tryndamere, it could be a good thing that Raydeer is going for that blue build Ezreal. He rushed a very early tier, which will be good for him in the long run, but actually takes a little bit away from his ability to assert pressure in this lane. I almost wonder if NBS needs to join the team before that Iceborne Gauntlet gets completed.
Barrow coming out there. Actually, Heaven's putting enough damage down on towards Mazarine with that Spirit Rush that it forced him to just back away a little bit there. Didn't throw out the explosive Casco, which I think he was trying to bait in the Luna. Again, going on the invade. They're heading down the bottom. This may well cut them off in time.
Yeah, this is a lot of trouble here. There is still summoners up for immunity, and they're pretty close to the turret.
Dark Passage thrown out, they catch on towards it. Belly Slam comes in, the explosive cast didn't really throw Raydeer when he wanted to. Mazarine gets caught up, the tower's going to do the damage. They turn that one around, Raydeer picks it up. Luna's now low, and Raydeer should follow through, gets himself a double kill, and what a turnaround by Immunity.
5-0-0, you could tell there that GamingGear overcommitted because there were still flashes up, yet they continued to go in. The Gragas Barrel didn't split people off, despite taking a bunch of tower aggro from Mazarine, and that is pretty much a disaster of a game.
That has not worked out, and now the gold is actually in favor of Immunity for the first time in this game. Tryndamere in that top lane in the form of MBS continues to put dominance across Swiper, but it doesn't matter. The rest of his team are starting to be punished all across the lanes, and Raydeer is making them pay.
And Lissandra's still going to be able to participate well in team fights as far as diving straight on once that phase is approaching. Really, it puts NBS in a really strange spot, since he is so far individually ahead of Lissandra, yet the other four members of his team are increasingly farther behind Immunity. And right now, the 4v4 is going so much better for Immunity that it's almost forcing NBS into a bad situation if he joins a team for a 5v5.
So all 5 kills are on Raydeer right now. We've talked about this so many times, but Ezreal is very maneuverable. Has Barrier Flash and Arcane Shift, of course, to get away. Not to mention that Dark Passage that Rosie's been using to great effect to help him out here. Are we going to see a lane switch round now? It looks like they are going to head towards the mid lane, cause problems. Blue buff, well, they're thinking of stealing it. Instead, they're trying to get on towards Alicia. Alicia is not going to back away from this one.
This could be a big fight.
Mazarine comes in, has got explosive cask if he wants to use, he does, and they're going to pop the passive, but the rest of the team are going to come in in time once again. True Shot Barrage comes across, it's another kill for Raydeer. Now they're on towards MBS, he's got his ultimate available, they're going to try and clutch on towards it. Swiper wants to slow him down. They do have the tower for protection, but just like that, it's a 6th kill for Raydeer.
Mazarine has not had success with his explosive casks there. He was trying to finish off Alicia, but he actually just pushed him farther away so the blobs would become unkillable, and that ended up backfiring, got his jungler Alunir killed, and that invade was completely misguided since there was no quit, whereas Nadir, now wearing double buffs and a 6-0 score, is helping push up mid.
Yeah, he's starting to churn down that turret. The one turret down already in Immunity after having a shaky lane phase that seemed to be starting off so well, and Luna creating all those opportunities, suddenly realizes that they are going to lose that middle turret. It's now 2-1 in terms of turrets. Radiant gets slow. They're going to catch on.
They might get him.
Crescendo comes in. Let's bounce. Will it follow? No. Radiant's going to get away. Look at Tryndamere. He's on him. Takes the Dark Passage. And this is what he talks about. He can kite him. Is it going to be enough, though? Radiant tries to get around. They want to throw everything at him. They get the shutdown bonus. It's Mazarine that gets it. Rosie's going to have to try and turn this one around. He may get an MBS here. MBS has to use the ultimate, so force that one out. It's going to be a short timer, but Rosie, he's going to get closed down. Who will be given the kill? Mazarine, I would suspect, or is it going to be MBS? It's a belly slam for Mazarine.
Something about these GamingGear games, they're very close, and then they find these opportunistic team fights. That was a great collapse through the back there to create that fight. I didn't think that Radier was going to be catchable. He rushed that Iceborne Gauntlets and was 6-0, but he was so overconfident that as the gank arrived, he actually shifted in and then flashed back, leaving him no extra escapes. It ended up having him take enough damage that GamingGear could just come in and finish, and getting that shutdown is going to be invaluable for GamingGear.
I would say the one saving grace for Immunity there was the fact that it was a 4v5. Because Heavens wasn't there. He was off on this top lane. He got the turret down in the top, so it is 3 for 2 in terms of turrets, and actually very close in gold still, just 500 between them. Radier wipes out that wave on that bottom lane. 6-1-1, currently 2,000 gold almost ahead of Deadly Brother.
That is an absurd lead right there for Ezreal. And I talked about Quinn a little bit in the Champion Select, how if it's a split push situation, the Quinn's going to have a big edge over Ezreal, but not if it's a 2,000 gold lead. At that point, I feel like Ezreal just wins straight up anyway. Where
is MBS going? He's maybe coming around the backside of Alicia, and they're actually going to get collapsed on here. You see GamingGear trying to come around. They pinged it, and they realized that MBS is there. He was looking to take a moment. He still could come around the back of Immunity here. It's a dangerous thing for him to do, though. Tryndamere relies so much on split pushing and forcing 1v1s that Immunity is trying to get as much importance onto this mid turret as possible to suck him in, because at this point, Immunity has to dive the mid turret or send probably 2 people back for NBS, and they're not willing to dive yet. So that's why it's smarter of MBS to not sneak in behind and instead go for the split push. Oh, the damage on towards Evans, it shouldn't be. No, it didn't quite finish him off there. Gets away with that one, uses that Spirit Rush. Instead, they're going to catch on towards Deadly Brother. He's going to get hooked in by the Death Sentence. Flashes away. Will it be enough? Switches to Bird Form. He will escape. Great escape from Deadly Brother. That was 2 extremely close escapes, one after another. Heavens barely got away with Azari, and then an even closer escape by Deadly Brother. What's interesting to me about all that, actually, is who Immunity sent to deal with Tryndamere. They sent Radier, their most fed person. I feel like this actually benefits GamingGear in a sense, because Trent's going to take him on anyway. He wants it. He hasn't got flash available, remember. Radier tries to get away from him. Spinning slash the tower. Is he going to get it? No. Yes, he does. Gets it down. And Alicia doesn't want to fight for that. There's nothing left on MBS, but he didn't want to go near him. He's a little scared of Tryndamere right now. It has not been a good day or good game for Alicia Zach. And that's exactly why GamingGear wants the 1v1 matchup. You can tell Radier is preparing for it because he built the Iceborne Gauntlets and he thought he was going to be able to keep his distance. But the instant that NBS closed on him, we just got to see Tryndamere wreck. And now that he's got that static shiv, it just went from bad to worse. The big advantage that Immunity had was how strong Ezreal was in team fights. And they went and put him into the greatest strength of GamingGear and lost. They shouldn't have done that. They should have kept attacking their weaknesses. Well, they're going to see how that translates, because GamingGear are starting to feel a bit confident. They have that gold advantage back again, and of course, the Dragon now up. Are they going to start focusing on that one? We haven't actually really had a Dragon fight. We haven't had a straight-up fight at all of any fire. Too much Tryndamere. Yeah, too much. It's all about Tryndamere, frankly. And it's still going to continue being all about Tryndamere. But look at this. Immunity have the advantage because Tryndamere is not here for this fight. They should take this Dragon. Absolutely uncontested, unless GamingGear decides to make some foolish choices, because they would lose any type of 4v5 against them without Tryndamere here. That's just the way they have to play this game. Well, they do take away that dragon. That keeps the gold oh so tight. Just 200 gold between these two teams. Immunity going to try and force up that mid lane again, but Tryndamere is cutting across. This time they're going to steal away that blue buff and take it away from Heavens or Swiper. Oh, True Shot Barrage comes across, but Luna did use that smite to get in.
And now it could just be a chase fight. If Immunity can catch NBS, it's well worth it.
But GamingGear, they could turn this around. Look at the rest of the team. They're collapsing in behind them. They could come in pincer move. They're trying to catch them out of position. And Immunity do turn it around. They realize that they were being collapsed upon and backed away from that one.
That's a quick case of who's actually trying to catch who here. It's like, oh, yeah, we're going to catch that 5-man team with our 3 people and then force a team fight with our split push Tryndamere. It wouldn't have been a good idea for GamingGear unless they caught a very beneficial member of their team before the fight could start, and they couldn't get that, which is why GamingGear backed away.
Radier is continuing to try to kite out MBS, but he's got to be careful how he goes about this one. Alicia might get focused on here, but look at this. They're diving on towards GamingGear. Immunity may have the better of them right now. They do catch on towards Mazarine. Here comes a True Shot Barrage. It rattled across, but he's not going to get close enough to this fight. Instead, he's going to get taken down. Tryndamere, MBS has taken him off the top lane. Now Heaven's going to get close in. He may well get burned down. No, Aluna, Ignite running. He has to safeguard away, and this is very close, but MBS comes to join the party. Ooh. They're going to catch in there. Aluna does pick up the kill. It's Alicia that goes down, and it's going to be Rosie that tries to get away from this one, uses the death sentence, but all he does is pulls in MBS, and MBS, one more hit, will pick up another kill. That was a 4-for-2 exchange for GamingGear.
Yeah. And what we didn't see on screen was NBS wrecking Radier again off screen. Radier stopped to use his Ezreal ultimate. That's a pretty dangerous chase, and just got trained down by NBS. Then NBS was able to come back in, and I feel like he's going to pick up yeah, he's absolutely going to pick up this kill as well. He's such an amazingly strong Tryndamere right now, and as long as he can handle Radier, GamingGear's got full control of this game.
Oh, and look at this. They're actually going to give it to Deadly Brother. Deadly Brother comes in, finishes it off, an easy kill. It's the easy one he'll ever get. Given across to him by a extremely fed MBS, who is now 4-0-4 and almost, what's that, 60 CS ahead of his laning partner. Tell you a lie, that's 70.
Yeah. That's a lot of numbers. And I'm surprised, but I think it was a good call for him to give that kill away, since the main weakness right now that MBS has to worry about is the rest of his team. Are they going to be strong enough to deal with 5-man dives if he gets caught in a bad split push situation where he can't force someone to come for him? Getting the kills elsewhere is perfect right now for them.
Oh, ward getting thrown out. Death sentence landed on his Spyro. Flay comes across. Radier throws out the True Shot Barrage. Could go straight into this. Maybe they've gone a bit too deep, though. MBS is there, and he's going to get back in. He wants to get on Radier, but he's all on his own right now. The rest of the team trying to get in. They've had good crowd control on towards MBS. They lock him up, force him to use his ultimate, force him to back away. But while that's all happening, Alicia was using that Let's Bounce, and GamingGear managed to lock down the jungler. They're going to pursue.
Yeah, and Heavens just arrived, by the way. He wasn't in that fight, so that gave GamingGear a false sense of security, and it ends up being a 1-for-1.
A 1-for-1. MBS, though, realizing that he is not invincible. He did get taken down, controlled, and Immunity realized if they have the chance, they can lock down that Tryndamere, but they have to focus so much on it.
Yeah, we kind of saw why MBS wants to split push and not be in a team fight in that case, because Radier kept his distance, and while he was doing so, the rest of the team could just kind of focus down and pile on. That's what Immunity wants a lot more of.
Yeah, and that was with the death sentence of play already used before that fight even began. Heavens, though, he's putting pressure on towards his top lane. Rosie just hanging off the side, trying to bait in Mazarine, hoping the belly slams on towards Heavens, looking to try and land that death sentence. Instead, he was going to back away. MBS continues to keep trying to push that top lane, but Swiper now, he's got to the state. Now he's got that Zhonya's Hourglass, starting to get the damage. He can wipe out those waves in one clean sweep.
He can keep him back for a little while, but I still don't think that'll give him enough power to actually fight NBS, just based off the monstrous amount of kills that he's picked up prior.
Well, Heavens may well get caught out here. Luna's going to come around the side. He has to land that kick. He may just go straight for the ulti kick instead. Takes a lot of burst front-loaded damage. The charm landing nicely there. He's trying to get in front of Heavens, but it's not working because he's taking a hell of a lot of damage. Oh, he actually went into the True Shot Barrage there. Radiant may be able to clean up here. You can see he gets one.
Not that way!
Oh, no! The banding slap. Sorry, Lancey knocked straight into there. Mazarine taking low. No, doesn't get it. Mazarine turns this one around. But now Alicia might be able to get himself a double kill. He's going to chase on. He will get a Luna. It's actually Rosie that picked it up with a lash.
You know what? That is great for GamingGear because it means the split push gets to continue.
It does continue, and where the heck did he just be able to get away from that one? The flash comes out from Swiper, manages to avoid it, and MBS, look at that, just life steals his way back to victory. That split push continues to be a terror for Immunity.
Yeah, and as long as this game is skirmish-focused with small fights, I feel like GamingGear is taking an edge, because even though Tryndamere is their main source of strength, you can see the Gragas chase as well as the Quinn chase, plus Lee Sin, they're all about small fights. Really not the greatest in team fights, but as long as they get these, that's why they're pulling ahead.
Yeah, they are starting to drive down those turrets, and it's only a matter of time because MBS is going to start chopping down those turrets like they're meaningless little morsels of minions, and they do just destroy them. You can see he's literally just looped around, come back for that blue buff, but he's actually being baited here. His Pink Warden, oh, the charm just missing out, not finding his target. They're going to get in, the Swiper goes in, tries to lock him up here, and Alicia, they will have enough to crowd control him. The Death Sentence is available. That's going to be the Undying Rage used, tries to get away from it. It should be enough. The Ignite was running, and it will take him down. Nicely played by Heavens.
Yeah, that was too many people for him to run away from, just barely, but they used so much that the counter engage is coming in from GG.
Rosie has to pull the box down. Radiant's True Shot Barrage didn't really find his target, but Aluna's off the side, and he's going to get locked down. Radiant will pick up the kill, and no, it's actually going to go across the Heavens, but it doesn't matter. The rest of Immunity going to chase in towards this one. They're going to try and focus on Maluna, but instead Mazarine may get himself a kill of his own. He just went to get the barrel down. Heavens takes a massive chunk of damage. Wow, where are you going? Alicia actually went in aggressively. I think he's kind of caught himself off guard, went in a bit too deep. Radiant is not done yet, though. Manages to get the slow on towards Mazarine. Mazarine backs away from this one. Radiant wants to follow it up, but it's not going to happen. And that was a 2-for-2 exchange after all that chaotic fight.
These fights are still extremely close. You can see amongst it, all the chaos, Mazarine is hitting pretty hard. And Raydeer has no magic resistance, so if he wants to keep playing aggressive like this, able to get kills like that, he's at risk of Gragas if he's near.
And you've got to wonder why he hung around there. He was just simply locked up and realized,
foolishness.
I am dead. I am going to try and get as much farm as I can. MBS, though, he's at 279 CS now. He's been chopping his way through these minions without static shift. He's going to continue building up. Infinity Edge will follow. And Raydeer may not be able to kite him still. He's still not close.
I mean, if you can't kite him once you get your Iceborne Gauntlets, you're not getting any more of them to kite better. I feel like MBS has proven that he's able to stick on once he gets Blade of the Ruined King specifically, unless Raydeer is willing, you know, if the Ghost is up for MBS,
I think it's just a case of,
him down.
See, he's just got the Muramana completed, so it's a case of, can he do enough damage to actually scare MBS away before his ultimate's going to be available?
It's a combination of kind of keeping distance, but mainly needing enough damage to get by. It's now more of a damage calculation, as you said, than an actual escapability.
And they are going to take themselves out in the turret. The barrel landed. Actually just blew them back away from it and gave them a bit of an escape clause. MBS trying his best to get around. Raydeer is almost certainly the focus. Can he get close enough, though? They are going across the ward, so good coverage from GamingGear. They can spot him out. They are going to come in here. You see MBS coming in from the side, tries to go towards Swiper. Swiper's going to take the dark passage. Zoldy's Hourglass comes out, Crescendo follows, and Swiper's actually still alive. They might turn this one back around. He gets taken down. Raydeer picks up a kill on Deadly Brother. We are going to see Rosie having to back out of this one. Deadly MBS is going to get dropped down. Alicia trying to pick up one more kill on towards Inspiro. Instead, it will be a double kill, a triple kill for Mazarine.
And Mazarine comes in 3 for 3. He is just picking up a lot of end game kills there. Like, it's just, people are getting low. The fights are so chaotic. He's landing enough barrels throughout to just pick off the low people. I don't even really know how Raydeer died in that fight. It seemed like he was going to come in at the end and clean up. I was waiting for it, and then I was like, oh, wait a minute. He's dead. Mazarine had taken him so low at the start of that fight with his explosive cask that incidental damage just ended up killing him throughout the fight.
Just dropped him down there, and actually Mazarine up to 8-1-8 now. He's sneaking his way in towards becoming a Terra Gragas, which he did use a lot during the group stages, the semi-finals, I believe it was actually, at the Commonwealth Independent States qualifiers that happened in Moscow back in week 2 of the European LCS. Deadly Brother not really been able to get this Quinn going, honestly, because he's been focus fired, and Raydeer, honestly, from that start has kind of had his number since he went 3-0. 9-5-5 though for Raydeer now, and has honestly been caught out every time. Trishop Barrage going to come across too early, and Mazarine should be able to pick up that blue.
Gonna help him out a little bit with that blue buff. The Quinn definitely hasn't started going, but I do have to say the Infinity Edge that got finished by MBS is a huge power spike for him, and there's 605 ability power on Mazarine right now. The individual strength of those solo laners is massive right now.
And at the moment, MBS, he's trying to split push off. He's going to get caught out by Radiant and Heavens. But look at that. He turns it around on Heavens. Heavens just gets absolutely mullered. But he does manage to escape the damage. Didn't use his Undying Rage. And instead, Radiant comes in and steals that kill with the Arcane Shift.
Oh, that is the bane of every Tryndamere's existence. Trying to wait until the last possible second and missing it. Really hurt him there.
Oh, there, and that's going to be Alicia kicked away from this one. We're going to see Deadly Brother close that gap. Alicia will go down here. Passive isn't really going to save him. The rest of his team, no! Dark Passage comes out. Deadly Brother closes the gap. The barrel's going to come in. Now he's in trouble. Now Rosie's going to try and escape. Oh, the barrel from Mazarine. It's going to be enough. Tries to roll out the barrel instead. Radiant, meanwhile, he's taking down the inner turret on the bottom lane and continue into the inhibitor.
And NBS is down for another 15 seconds. You can see GamingGear's going for the Baron instead, but this is at a huge cost. NBS is going to have to rush out and kill Ezreal while this Baron goes on. So much is going to happen in the next few seconds.
We're going to have, of course, don't forget, Lissandra. Lissandra could come in and lock up the entire team. Inspiro tanking out the Baron, getting taken very low already. Heavens is going to come in. Crescendo used there. That's a little bit too early.
My God.
But they did manage to pop down Heavens. Heavens instead got himself a kill. There goes Lissandra. He comes in, manages to use the Zhonya's Hourglass instead. The Baron turns back on towards him, flashes away from there. Not going to be enough. Rosie getting taken low. He gets away with nothing. While this is all happening, Radier comes back after taking down. No, he didn't. He backed off.
He had to back away. He recognized Tryndamere beats him in a fight. He's done that once before, I have to say, but that fight, D-Man, really displayed, I thought that guy was lower health. Then that Mazarine's ability power is going from, he blew up Heaven's Azari immediately in that fight.
Well, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, from Stream A. If you have just joined us, this is a pretty chaotic game. Of course, if you Stream B viewers, it does mean that Lion Gaming actually won out that last match. So they went 1-3 in that against Dark Passage, I believe it was. Oh, no, it was against Pain.
It was against Pain.
So Pain went 3-1. Immunity could go 3-1.
They could.
But actually, Pain would be top anyway. Pain would be top anyway because the tiebreak doesn't matter. Okay. Back to what's going on. It's 21-24. It's a pretty chaotic game right now. It's a battle of can Ezreal beat Tryndamere?
And it's chaotic because of what MBS has done. MBS actually, it doesn't look like it now if you're just tuning in. He was 4-0 when the rest of GamingGear was losing. But because of all the chaos he has created for himself and opportunity he's gotten Mazarine and the rest of the team, they've been able to pick up this many kills and get this much craziness. I feel like if we ever get a full-on 5v5, I think that's when Immunity is going to win. But that's just not something we're going to get in this game, even.
Yeah, and right now we should also point out the fact that Mazarine is 11-1-8. He's been sneaky. He's been picking his kills up at the end of every single fight, and now he's got to the point where he's that dangerous he can almost one-shot people if he catches them in the right position. Heaven's also gone for that Lich Bane as well. I noticed that one picking that up in that fight. He got absolutely decimated in the last fight by Mazarino.
Yeah, that's why he's got that Negatron cloak now, because he had previously had no defensive items. And I actually think it's fun how the Tryndamere itself is forcing more damage-focused builds onto IM.
Wow, Crescendo used on towards Alicia. They thought they were going to go for that Baron, trying to lock him down. MBS being kited nicely by Radier. Can he turn this one around? He's going to pop that Undying Rage and forces Radier away, but Radier realizes he can kite this one. Trishop Barrage comes across, doesn't catch him. Or it does, but it's not quite enough damage. This has actually given MBS problems, though.
I think this is a great sign for Immunity as the game moves on. The fact that Ezreal can actually win a duel against Tryndamere now. He had enough damage that he forced Trynd to walk away and had enough summoners up to make that escape. He still had barrier if the fight would have continued, so he definitely showed some superiority there, getting a Blade of the Ruined King of his own to kind of run away once he gets Blade of the Ruined King has been very beneficial for him.
So we'll see how that works in his favor, because Radier will be feeling a little bit more confident, a little more happy, and that means he can split push. But look at this, he's off the side. No, he's not going to create anything. GamingGear. This game has been a little wild, to say the least. MBS, he was split pushing the top lane, really was driving it down, and now he's actually switched his focused back down to the bottom, which tells me I wonder if the rest of the team are trying to create something here. Looks like Dragon's going to get picked up by GamingGear as well, because that top inner turret, he did a lot of damage to it before he left it.
Yeah, I think this switch is mainly for a couple of reasons. Ezreal has put a lot of damage on GamingGear's bottom lane turret, and also if GamingGear wants to create any type of action around Baron, they need Tryndamere bottom to suck people towards him.
So we'll see whether it works out. MBS is coming around straight in towards Radier's territory, who is picking that red buff out. That's going to help him out in that duel, that battle. Look at Heavens tracing him, following along, making sure MBS doesn't get in there, throws into the charm, who doesn't want to check it. It's pretty terrifying to go in a bush against the Tryndamere.
Not a good idea.
No.
Because even if you flash afterwards, once you close the distance for him.
Yes.
That's the whole reason it's so dangerous at this point. And even though he hasn't gotten a kill in so long, NBS is still dictating this game. It almost seems like it's time for Mazarin to start dictating this game, but it's definitely not that way right now with the way the map is moving.
No, he's been countering it every time, and Deadly Brother's still continuing to try and chase that farm. He's trying to catch up, keep up with Radier, but the fact that Radier was sent off to split push has effectively always put Deadly Brother behind.
And look at this, still split pushing down in the bottom, and it's still trying to be answered by Radier. He's now picked up a Guardian Angel. That is an excessively defensive Ezreal build, by the way. 213 armor on Ezreal. So until NBS finishes his last Whisper, which he hasn't went back to pick up yet from the shop, he'll actually lose like a stand-and fight with Ezreal.
And with that Guardian Angels, he's going to feel much more confident up against MBS. He won't want to lose it, but the fact that, MBS is Rosie trying to bait him in here. MBS trying to pull him in, lands the death sentence. Radier comes in. That's going to be the slow. He's going to have to spin his slash to try and get away from this one. He could Arcane Shift and follow. They don't have vision, but that in itself has bought Immunity some time.
Yeah, and they scouted the Baron because that's the biggest fear when you send two people to the bottom lane. Clearly, GamingGear was hoping they'd face check in, but now it's just a game of back and forth, cat and mouse as they're split pushing each other, making a beeline for the inhibitor. I like Immunity's call here.
Immunity's call may well work out. They know that MBS is still down that bottom, so he's not going to be available. Alicia's trying to buy time, uses that Let's Bounce to try and buy himself enough. The shield comes out. Immunity did back off, as you mentioned. We do still have Swiper. Swiper's still pushing in there. And Luna's just off the side. It's a full-on split triumphant coming into Immunity.
And Immunity might get trapped here as they've actually spread themselves thin. Alicia away from the rest of the team.
Well, he has been caught out, but Immunity coming in behind him. Have they got enough to take down the passive in time? Crescendo comes in, flash on towards Heavens. Heavens has to get away from this one, and now Swiper goes in. Immunity going in one by one by one. What are they doing? Heavens has to get away from this one. MBS taken so low, and now Radier, he's actually off on his own right now. MBS will go down. Swiper picks up the kill. Now they're going to feel positive. Radier starts looking for the kill. He's going to go looking towards Mazarin. Luna comes in. Deadly Brother goes aggressive. Does a lot of damage down him. Tries to pop out. Radier uses the True Shot Barrage. The hook on towards Mazarin. Has to use that Zhonya's Hourglass. He's going to get caught down. It's going to be Heavens that picks up the kill, but they get one back. Deadly Brother gets in. Swiper goes down. Heavens gets dropped as well. And this is so close between the teams.
Good luck following all of this action on the camera. Barely keeping up with it ourselves here. This is now 3 for 2. And the GA, I don't know if they have the damage to kill him here. 213 armor on that Ezreal.
Radier continuing to kite. Dark passage thrown out once again from Rosie, and that pulls them away. So a 3 for 2 exchange. GamingGear come out on top, and they may get themselves an inner turret for the problem. And look at this, Radier's not done yet.
He wants to just keep going. His man is actually running a little short, though. I don't know how long they can continue this.
Shirelia's Reverie being used. That's going to be an elastic slingshot. Rosie actually picks up the kill on Deadly Brother.
That one hurt pretty well. Quinn has moved now 6 and 7. Geez, to say this game is a little chaotic would be a bit of an understatement. That was one of the craziest fights I've seen in a while. Just the way Immunity put themselves in between the turret, and then specifically Alicia spreading the fight up so much, and then making the rest of Immunity kind of collapse in, just created the most spread out fight I can imagine, and that seems to favor GamingGear. Because a spread out team fight in that sense is just like a series of small fights. It's not actually a team fight, which I think is why they kind of came out with an edge there. But once again, because Deadly Brother died afterwards, they're in an extended 4v5 scenario. Radier has no mana on Ezreal, which could impact this choice. And against a Gragas, we know Mazarine can steal a Baron. He's already stolen one today with Gragas.
Yeah, and he may well actually try and do it again. You're going to see Crescendo comes across, the barrel wheel follows.
Oh my God.
Word, just like that. Mazarine shuts down, gets himself the easiest double kill he can. All set up by that Crescendo. MBS now, he gets in towards Alicia. Alicia gets dropped, but more importantly, Radier's Guardian Angel has been taken down. Spinning Slash. There was a triple kill by Mazarine in the process as well. Alicia, the last man standing, is running for his life. The Australians are getting defeated by the Lithuanians.
We talked about a Baron steal. How about just killing 2 people immediately before the fight starts? That was an unbelievable amount of burst. 15 and 2 now, as you point out. Crushing down this inhibitor. NBS got onto Radier again, and this is just a steamroll through the base.
They could just chop straight through this one. The fact that they have their AD carry, and more importantly, Tryndamere available, they will drop these Nexus turrets in a matter of seconds. It's going to be GamingGear taking down the Australian team Immunity. Immunity thought they brought themselves back into this one, but a mistake. They went for Baron. They forced the problem. Explosive Cask just melts down. And Zach where he stands, and it is going to be GamingGear finishing second in the international wildcard tournament. They will, of course, be facing Immunity tomorrow, nevertheless, in a best of 3.
Yeah, and that's a rematch I definitely want to check out because this game was just downright exciting. 414 minion kills from the split-pushing monster NBS on Tryndamere, but really, that was all to create opportunity for what ended up being a 16 and 2 Mazarine on Gragas, who was just exploding people by the end of it.
And it's strange because he snuck into that score. He snuck those items out. It was so much focus on MBS and the fact that Radier was doing such a great job at starting to pick up the kills. He was coming in and mopping up the fights.
Yep.
Everybody was focusing the wrong targets, and suddenly it was like, guys, I can one-shot people.
Exactly.
Let's do it.
He was taking advantage specifically of Gragas' mobility, and once the fights broke down, once there was Karnak, once people were low, he could not only, one-shot them near the end, but he could chase them down, which is, I think, the most important thing of that entire composition. Everyone on GamingGear could chase down throughout the game.
I think something we should really importantly note, most importantly, is the fact that Pain Gaming, GamingGear, and Immunity all actually look pretty damn close.
Yeah.
They're simply down to the picks and bans, and again, the fact that it's a best of 3 gives the opportunity for these teams to definitely bring it back. GamingGear gave Pain a good run for the money. We just saw them taking Immunity all the way. That was a chaotic game, though. Not too sure whether tomorrow's games may be a little bit more thought out.
I think they're going to be a little different. Obviously, these teams were still trying, but they were playing a little loose, so to speak. Yes, the composition made sense with the Quinn to help everyone chase, being a highly mobile kind of map controlling AD carry. It didn't seem like it was super well practiced, at least from Deadly Brothers' point of view. I really want to see tomorrow because now we have a feel for these teams. And most importantly, these teams have a feel for each other. So they're going to take the knowledge, all the things they've watched, they've all played against each other, and then bring it in tomorrow to see who gets to go to the World Championships.
So now that we know the ties, it's going to be Pain Gaming versus Dark Passage. And of course, as we just mentioned, GamingGear versus Immunity. That's who's going to be playing each other.
Yeah.
How do you see it stacking up? Who do you see beating who? I would give Pain, of course, over Dark Passage. Huge edge. We've already seen them here on Stream B, defeating them in pretty convincing style. If I remember right, he was 16-2 something for PRTT. 15 something, 15-2. He got the pentakill at the end. Nevertheless, that's what counts. But that game there, that's the one to watch.
At least in the semifinals. I definitely feel like Pain has a big edge. And this one, yes, it's the one to watch. Trying to kind of stack up these two teams, and it's weird to say directly after a defeat that I think Immunity is probably the favorite. Only because I feel like they had that game until they made a miscue that is fixable. Right. If they would have just put a different member to try to counter Tryndamere, if they would have sent Ahri to stop Tryndamere, I feel like they could have just won the game with Radier's Ezreal. And I think they're smart enough to make that adjustment and go into tomorrow. Whereas I don't know how many adjustments GamingGear will be able to make, since a lot of their wins have just been Gragas team fighting well. It's like, well, yeah, they're able to split people up and catch them out of position, but I don't know how necessarily they can adapt to what Immunity's going to have to come after them with.
What sort of level do we put them at? We've seen 5 games now, or effectively more than that, because we looked at some of the other matches, but what sort of level do we put these teams at? Obviously, bearing in mind, these are going to the World Championships.
Yeah.
One of these teams will be in Season 3 World Championships.
Yeah, I actually think right now that Immunity has a chance to be, well, not necessarily Immunity. So far in the Pain games, they definitely seem like the strongest. And to answer your question of what level they're on, they're definitely very good. Until I see them playing at the world stage, I'm not sure. I wouldn't put them above any of them immediately. I'd say they're, based on my impression, a little more loose than a lot of the teams, but definitely some of the individual plays we've seen are right on that level. So I put them maybe one tier, like very, very slightly below the professional leagues that we've seen in North America and Europe.
Okay, well, there you go. You've heard it from Jan.